very physically attractive people. How does life treat you? I didn't realize I was very attractive until I was about 16. Not because I looked in the mirror and thought, wow, I'm hot, but because people started behaving differently around me. Teachers smiled longer. Cashiers laughed harder at jokes that weren't funny. Strangers held doors, even when I was nowhere near them yet. Friends would say things like, must be nice, whenever something went right for me, and at first, I thought they were joking. Then I noticed patterns. I could walk into a room and feel the temperature change. Conversations shifted. People straightened their posture. Some became overly kind. Others became strangely cold. I didn't understand why until one of my closest friends snapped during an argument and said, "You don't get it. Life is on easy mode for you." That sentence stuck with me. At first, I rejected it. I grew up broke. My parents fought constantly. I had anxiety so bad in high school that I'd sit in bathroom stalls just to breathe. Nothing about my inner life felt easy. But over time, I couldn't deny something else was happening on the outside. Doors opened faster for me. I got hired for my first job without experience. The manager barely glanced at my resume, just smiled, asked if I could start Monday, and said, "We'll train you." When I made mistakes, people brushed them off. When others messed up, they got lectures. I didn't earn that difference. It just existed. Dating was weird too. People assume attractive people have amazing love lives. The truth? I had a lot of attention, but very little safety. Men approached me constantly. Compliments weren't rare, but neither were hands on my waist without permission, comments about my body before my name, or the way no was sometimes treated like a challenge instead of an answer. I learned early to smile while uncomfortable, to laugh while backing away, to soften rejection so I wouldn't get called a bitch, stuck up, or worse. Pretty privilege comes with a tax, and sometimes that tax is your peace. But the loneliest part wasn't the attention. It was never knowing why people liked me. In college, I made friends easily, too easily. People wanted to sit next to me, invite me out, include me in things. But I started noticing how shallow some connections felt. Conversations stayed light. Vulnerable moments were rare, and when I tried opening up about real struggles, depression, family problems, fear of failure, people looked confused, like I had broken character. Once, after I told a friend I was struggling mentally, she laughed and said, "You, no offense, but you're literally too pretty to be sad." I know she meant it as a compliment. It felt like erasure. There's this strange pressure that comes with being attractive, an unspoken expectation that you're supposed to be happy, confident, successful, and emotionally easy. When you're not, people don't know where to put that information. So sometimes they just don't. And then there's jealousy. No one talks about that part enough. Some women hated me before I ever spoke. I'd catch whispers, side eyes, cold shoulders. A few times, girls who became close to me later admitted they'd initially assumed I was stuck up or fake just based on my face. In group projects, I was sometimes excluded. In friendships, I was tested in ways others weren't, like I had to prove I was safe before being allowed in. Men weren't much better. Some were intimidated and avoided me entirely, wouldn't make eye contact, wouldn't speak, wouldn't treat me like a normal human. Others treated me like a trophy instead of a person. I learned quickly that being desired doesn't always mean being respected. Dating became exhausting. I couldn't tell who liked me and who liked the idea of me. I'd go on dates where men barely asked questions about my life, but commented endlessly on my looks. I'd notice how fast some people fell not in love, but into fantasy. And when I failed to live up to that fantasy when I was anxious, messy, opinionated, tired, their interest vanished just as fast. That messes with your head. You start wondering, if I lost this face, would anyone still choose me? I remember one moment that really cracked something open for me. I was at a party with friends, sitting on the couch, laughing at something stupid. A guy across the room, someone I'd never met, walked over, looked me dead in the eyes, and said, "You know, your life must be perfect." I laughed awkwardly and said, "Not really." He smiled like I was lying. "Come on, look at you." And suddenly, I felt this weird mix of anger and sadness, because he didn't know anything about me. He didn't know I'd cried in my car that morning. He didn't know I was behind in classes. He didn't know my mom hadn't spoken to me in months. He just saw a face and decided that meant I couldn't possibly be struggling. People assume life hands you everything, so when you need help, you're less likely to receive it. When you're sad, you're doubted. And when you succeed, it's often credited to your looks instead of your effort. That one hurts more than people realize. I worked my ass off in school, stayed up late, took extra courses, burned out quietly. But when I landed a competitive internship, someone joked, "Well, we know why you got it." Everyone laughed. I laughed too, because what else do you do? But inside, something wilted. You start questioning your own achievements. Did I earn this? Or did my face? Would they still like me if I looked different? Would my life collapse if beauty faded? Those thoughts stick. And here's the thing, no one tells you. Being attractive doesn't make life easy. It just makes life weird. You get advantages, yes. People are kinder. Doors open faster. Mistakes are forgiven more easily. But you also lose something, the certainty that you're chosen for who you are. You lose anonymity. You lose safety sometimes. You lose the ability to move through the world without being watched. And worst of all, you lose the right to complain about it. Because anytime you express struggle, someone inevitably says, must be nice. So you learn to stay quiet. You learn to downplay, to minimize, to carry your problems privately so no one accuses you of being ungrateful. But the truth is, I didn't ask for this face. I didn't earn it. I didn't work for it. I just woke up one day and realized the world was treating me differently, and I was expected to pretend that didn't affect me. Over time, I stopped trying to be liked and started trying to be real. I stopped softening myself to be palatable, stopped laughing at disrespect, stopped shrinking my problems because someone else thought I had it easy. And something surprising happened. Some people left, but the ones who stayed, they saw me, not my face, not my body, me. And those relationships, the real ones, felt deeper than anything I'd ever had before. So how does life treat very physically attractive people? Better in some ways, worse in others, and strangely lonely in the middle. Privilege doesn't erase pain, it just changes its shape. And honestly, I'd trade a little less attention for a little more peace.